Hi, Miguel Kakaninden here, back with another Naruto vlog. Today we are doing Volume 17, Itachi's Power, and that title alone should give you an idea of the extent to which things go down in this volume. But we only get a bit of a confrontation with Itachi near the beginning of the volume. So when we last left off, Naruto was being confronted by Itachi in his hotel room because, like, wow. Itachi has really great tracking skills. And we're left with questions like, how is Sasuke going to deal with this? How does Itachi plan on extracting the power of the nine-tailed fox, or using the power of a nine-tailed fox, taking it from Naruto and using it for his own gain? We know that the Akatsuki is looking for that power. I'm assuming it's for very nefarious purposes. But anyway, so we do see Sasuke come face to face with Itachi at some point, and we actually do get to see like a little bit of how things like went down between the two brothers in the beginning. And interestingly enough, Itachi actually doesn't seem, at least to me, he doesn't seem like that bad of a big. I'm a big brother myself, so like when I see Itachi just like brush off his brother, like, I'm a little busy right now. I don't have time to deal with you right now. And Sasuke is a little bit, he's a little bit miffed by that because, he wants to spend time with his brother. He wants his brother to teach him stuff, and especially the ninja arts, because Itachi being such a proficient ninja, we learned that he actually went through, like, achieved the chunin rank at like a very very young age, even younger than Naruto. And excuse me. So that would make that understandably Sasuke would try to look up to him, but then one day Sasuke comes home and Itachi has killed everyone, like mother, father, like the entire Uchiha clan, and we finally learn why Itachi did that, and it's like to test his skills, or like measure like his ability to take people down or to kill people or something, or measure the strength of his Sharingan or something like that. Something about measuring like his capacity, and like that's a like it's a that understandably irks Sasuke. Like if you did something as atrocious as like murder your own parents, simply to like simply out of how curious, if you were how curious if you were curious, I'm sorry, I can't English today. Simply because you were curious to see how well you could do it, or if you could actually do it, that's like that's really horrible. I'm not really feeling I'm not entirely feeling sympathetic to Itachi right now. Not as much as I dislike Neji at the beginning, but like still, I understand Itachi is a villain in this case. So I don't feel like I have to relate to him. But Itachi reveals like he didn't kill Sasuke because Sasuke is pathetic. There's no point in killing him because like what would that prove? And of course that completely angers Sasuke. In addition to Itachi completely wiping out his whole family. And so we cut back. We see Sasuke try to use the Chidori. He doesn't really do much against Itachi. Itachi actually utilizes the Tsukuyomi thing that he's able to do with his eyes, where he transports the opponent to a realm where he is in complete control of their of what they feel and what they think they see. Excuse me. So he actually makes Sasuke relive that day for 24 hours, and that puts Sasuke out of commission for a while. Similar to how Kakashi, who was bedridden when Itachi did the same thing to him. So, like, Kakashi being such a powerful ninja, like, how much more will it do to Sasuke? It's interesting. I like this. I don't like it. I mean, it's terrifying. But I like the aesthetic of Tsukuyomi. I don't really talk about the art of Naruto too much because I'm not always impressed by it. But, like, at the same time, I like the story and I like the characters. So the lack of, like, really impressive, like, art, at least for me, is like it doesn't stand out to me, so I don't really want to mention it too much. But I like when we cut to Tsukuyomi and we see like the entire thing shift to like the color shift, right? You can't really say much about color, it being a manga and everything, but when the it's like entering the negative zone of some sort. Like everything is swapped with its opposite color. Like white becomes black and black becomes white, and it really stands out in contrast to the rest of the page. And I really, really love that aesthetic to Tsukuyomi because it shows just how like demented and how terrifying it can be. Because like Itachi is in control of everything. He can make you feel things you do not want to feel. You can be stabbed by swords for 72 hours. You can relive your worst memory for 24 hours. So I'm really fascinated by the Tsukuyomi technique that Itachi constantly uses. But Itachi and Kisame are interrupted by Jiraiya, who jumps in at just the right time and actually teleports them to like the inside of a toad or something. I didn't really get that entire thing because I'm not sure like how they got out of that toad. Like I don't know. Maybe I missed something. Full disclosure, I read this over the course of the past couple days because I didn't have very much time to record anything or to read Naruto. So yeah, just full disclosure. That's the reason I don't remember a whole lot. But Jiraiya actually manages to trap them in that toad thing, and apparently Itachi acknowledges his power when he flees. He manages to flee somehow. He and Kisame, but Itachi mentions something interesting. He says, not only was I forced to use the Tsukuyomi, I was forced to use the Amaterasu as well. And for those of you who don't know, Amaterasu is the goddess of the dawn, or the kami of the dawn, in like Shinto mythology, as opposed to Tsukuyomi, who represents the night. And it's interesting that Itachi has abilities that pertain to both Amaterasu and Tsukuyomi. It actually makes me wonder if Sasuke has access to these abilities as well as another person wielding the Sharingan Eye. I'm assuming we don't entirely know. Like it's never clarified as to what Amaterasu entails. There is some black fire that goes on within the toad thing that Jiraiya mentions. Like, this was not supposed to happen. Like the toad's mouth doesn't really catch fire that easily. So like, what gives? But we don't really focus on it too much, and I really hope we get to see what exactly this Amaterasu technique entails in the future. So Naruto becomes very intent on helping to take Itachi down, but Jiraiya says like, Naruto, you are super weak. You don't stand a chance. And Mike Guy is in this too. He pops up randomly. But anyway, because this guy is going around, he's hurting his friends, he's hurting Sasuke, he's hurting Kakashi, he's hurting the people he loves. So Naruto is very intent on taking him down. But Jiraiya mentions like, you're really weak right now. You're like the way you managed to survive Orochimaru and the way you beat Gaara. A lot of it was a lot of it wasn't your skill. You gotta learn some more. You gotta grow some more before you're really able to face Itachi. Because look what he did to Sasuke. Sasuke is out cold, right? So Jiraiya actually takes Naruto out to a bustling city, and it's interesting. We haven't really seen that many cities or villages outside of Konohagakure and Sunagakure. We saw the place in the Land of the Waves, but we didn't really see much outside of the home of the bridge builder. What was his name? Tazuna. Outside of Tazuna's home and the bridge that he was building, we didn't see very much outside of that. So it's interesting to see see a city depicted here. And there's a festival going on, so Naruto goes around. Jiraiya actually acts like a very hypocritical parent figure, but a parent figure nonetheless. In which he like says like, Naruto has saved up all his money from the missions that he's taken on, which is interesting. Like I wasn't expecting Naruto to be the guy to be the saving guy, the guy who like saves his money. I'd assume he'd like spend it all on ramen or something like that. But anyway, Naruto has very wisely saved up his money, and Jiraiya actually takes that one step further and says, hey, you're only allowed to utilize this amount of your saved earnings, and it amounts to about $30. and Naruto goes out and he enjoys himself as much as that $30 will allow, and he actually manages to snag a few good deals along the way. But then he comes back and he sees Jiraiya, like, he has spent all that money on drinks and women, and he's like, what about the three, like, the three things that, like, mortal sins, or like the deadly sins of shinobi life, like being drink, alcohol, and women, and money. All three of those Jiraiya is currently falling prey to, and he's like, you are seriously a hypocrite. So Jiraiya, while agreeing to train Naruto, is searching for the third great shinobi. We have Orochimaru, we have Jiraiya, being two of them. The third one is a woman named Tsunade, the third shinobi under the tutelage of Sarutobi, the third Hokage. And she appears to have fallen prey to the money aspect, the money sin of shinobi, what I said earlier. In that she is an obsessive gambler. She is actually known as the legendary loser, which is a pretty shabby title to be stuck with, if we're being perfectly honest. So the legendary loser is in a nearby city. She is gambling all her money away, and she is going out to borrow more money and then gambling all that away, but she's just really, she just has so little luck with gambling that she actually has to continually change her appearance in order to avoid the angry moneylenders. So I'm curious to see, like, so far we've seen Jiraiya be very competent at the ninja arts, and of course Orochimaru basically almost took down Konohagakure village in one fell swoop, but it's interesting to see how two of these great shinobi have sides of them that don't really they're definitely not the way a shinobi would live, at least according to the standards of Konohagakure, right? So it's really strange to see that, and I'm very curious to see what Tsunade is capable of doing, especially in comparison to Jiraiya and Orochimaru. Jiraiya being like, I wonder if she has an animal associated with her, with Jiraiya being so associated with toads, Orochimaru being so associated with snakes, which is why I keep making the joke, like, knock off Jafar or want to be Voldemort, but like, that's just a joke that I like to make. But yeah, he's currently collecting information on Tsunade. He doesn't have a lot of leads to go on for like a really long while, like weeks. It takes weeks for him to actually get a hold of where Tsunade is. So I'm assuming in the coming volumes we're going to touch on exactly what Tsunade has been doing all this time, why she has left Konohagakure, why she's gambling all her money away, how we plan on trying to get her back to Konohagakure to be the next Hokage, if at all she intends to do that. All the while, Jiraiya has been trying to teach Naruto his new technique. He actually uses this technique on a former shinobi. This is another, like, I get completely thrown off when I see people in business suits here, because it just seems so ordinary. You know, we see all these ninja wearing special outfits, like we see the vest, and we see all Sakura's like little skirt thing, Sasuke wearing his little weird turtleneck like thing, his blue shirt. Naruto has his orange jacket, of course. So like it's very outlandish, but also like it helps to build the world. Whenever we see people in suits, it drives me bonkers because I don't know what to think. Like they look like they blue skidooed into the Naruto world, but it really throws me off. And I understand like there's, you know, this supposedly takes place in a world where, you know, modern technology is still a thing. You know, there are construction sites with cranes and, you know, all those power tools and whatnot. But it still throws me off because, like, it's very difficult to gauge exactly how to read this world when there are so many, like, you know, cognitive inconsistencies here and there. But anyway, he actually uses this on a former shinobi, and he wants to teach it to Naruto. It's apparently the fourth Hokage's signature move, and it took him apparently years to learn. So Naruto doesn't really feel like he can learn it very easily. but he is still confident in his ability to at least give it a try. So Jiraiya first orders him to manipulate his chakra through his hand by swirling water in a water balloon. That way he can visualize the way his chakra is flowing. And the goal is to burst the water balloon. But Naruto tries for days, and he ends up not figuring it out. Up until the point where he, excuse me, by the way, up until the point where he realizes, hey, instead of swirling the water in one direction, why don't I swirl it in a bunch of different directions? Jiraiya also says this interesting thing where, like, the direction in which you swirl your chakra, like, inside your body varies from person to person. Some people do it counterclockwise, some people do it clockwise, and it all depends on the way your hair is done, which is actually it makes sense a little bit, like in the world of Naruto, but it's also like a bit of a wacky thing to think about. But beside the point, Naruto actually, like, he bursts the water balloon by swirling it in a bunch of different directions instead of just clockwise. And his next task is to burst a rubber ball, which, like, is a million times harder. Obviously, it makes sense that it would be harder because, a rubber ball is much stiffer than a water balloon, and you can't really see the direction of your chakra flow in a rubber ball. And Naruto, just to burst the water balloon, actually had to use two hands. Jiraiya says that this is a one-handed move. So Naruto is having a lot of trouble with this. And I'm hoping that we get to see him finally master this move in the next volume. That was a lot to cover. I had a lot to say about some of the stuff here, and I did forget a lot of things, so pardon me. So, anyway, that being said, I will see you guys for Volume 18.